So, stop me if you've heard this one before. A Scottish guy gets sick, so he calls up a Mexican guy who lives in America, and that Mexican guy calls a New Zealander who lives in Australia, and what happens next is actually a podcast that you're about to hear. Hello, farmers. Welcome to the harvest season, where we talk supposedly about cottagecore games. I'm Kevin, filling in for an Al who is a bit on the sick side, and with me today is...
I'm Jonnie. I'm here. Am I sick? Does being hungover count as being sick? Whatever, it's the same thing.
It doesn't feel good, I'll tell you that much. Well, actually,
it definitely does not.
I could not tell you, actually. I don't think I've ever been that, hungover to that degree, to a degree of feeling sick in the morning. I'm a square.
That's all I can say. Don't get old.
Oh, that's happening regardless. And you know what's happening regardless? Us talking about the news, because we are having another news-centric episode today. Last week we had wholesome summer games, whatever extra. There were like 20 game shows in total, I hear. But there was more news that leaked through or whatever. I don't know. We're going to talk about it because there's plenty to talk about. But before we get into that, Johnny, what have you been up to over there in Johnny World?
So I've been playing a little bit of Starstruck Vagabond, that new game, and it's a bit of a weird one. It's taking a bit of time to get into, but I like what I'm seeing of that so far. And I've been playing a lot of RuneScape, and that game is, I don't know, I talk about it all the time. I'm just sucked in. It's like that game takes over your life in a bad way, but also a really good way.
I was about to say, that sounds like a good way to me.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it at the moment, which is, it's really nice to go back and play a game that you're nostalgic for, that's had a lot of time and effort put in, and is good. So, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun kind of going back and having a bit of a fun nostalgia kick in RuneScape.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's comfort gaming, right? Everyone's got some sort of comfort gaming.
Yeah. What about you, Kev? What have you been up to?
Speaking of, well, actually, no, it's probably the opposite of comfort gaming. I play Street Fighter 6, where I get my butt handed to me continuously and repeatedly. I'm not good at fighting games, but I enjoy them nonetheless. Street Fighter 6 is in a great place. We got the DLC character recently, and a season 2 of DLC also announced, and they're very exciting characters. They're guest characters from King of Fighters. I'm sure most people listening to this don't understand that at all, and you know what, that's fine.
I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the first time that Street Fighter is doing the whole guest character thing? Is that right?
As far as I know, yes, actually. So they do some guest-ish things, especially with their own franchises, Capcom. So you can sometimes get costumes referencing other series or whatever, right? Like you can get Ryu in Monster Hunter armor or what have you. But yes, this is, I believe, the first time an actual proper character from outside Street Fighter has joined. And although, to be fair, they are... The King of Fighters series is not that different tonally from Street Fighter or aesthetically. Right, like, you could say, for Americans who know this reference, like, you could say Street Fighter's New York City and King of Fighters is New Jersey, just across the river. You just took a bus to get there. So yeah, it's also not the first time these two franchises have crossed over. They've had crossover games in the past, but yeah, it's exciting stuff. Terry Bogard, people might know him from Smash. He's the guy with the red hat. I'm excited for him in the game. Yeah, that will be later though. In the meantime, I have been fighting though and getting beat up a lot. In stuff I haven't been beat up a lot. I've been Disney's Speedstorm continues to exist. They came out with the Inside Out season because Inside Out 2 came out, I guess. It's fine. I like Inside Out enough. The characters are fine. One interesting thing, for whatever reason, they have stopped doing voices for every character. Now they only pick 2 or 3 out of the 5. And it's very odd. I don't know if that's because they're not doing well financially, don't want to hire people, or maybe they're just being greedy and just don't want to put the costs out for all of the characters to be voiced. But it's really odd because that game's been out for a year and all the characters have been voiced up to this point, but now they're breaking that, and it is a bit jarring.
Choice to make.
Yeah, very. Yeah, I'm also kind of surprised Disney would be okay with that, because I assume Disney's very strict about their control and whatever. Did you know that Disney Speedstorm is made by Gameloft, the same company that makes Dreamlight Valley?
Oh, I did not.
Yeah, it's wild. Because very different games, but I guess they're doing the Disney part justice, except for the voice thing. But yeah, that's your fun fact for the day. Other than that, a lot of my usual stuff. Marvel Snap, I continue to be trapped and just can never escape. Some card games and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's the most interesting stuff. Now with that said, let's get into other interesting stuff in terms of news. All right, so we're kind of got it broken up here per Al. We're going to start off with game releases, with launch dates and whatnot. We are going to start off with Horticular. Let me see. What is Horticular? I don't remember off the top of my head.
So Horticular is kind of like, to me, the aesthetic feels very like Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh, yep.
Where you're like building out a garden in that sort of style. So it's slightly bigger in scale, and you're placing things on a grid. I really like the vibe of this game, and it's coming out, going into 1.0 on July 11th, which is pretty soon and pretty exciting.
Yeah, there you go. I do appreciate when the dates are close, Jonnie pretty much nailed it. Pixel art. There's a lot going on here. There is indeed, looks like actually some sort of story. There's a complete story, actually. There's different modes. There's a sandbox creative mode. There's peaceful and story-less mode. Controller support will be out. They have Twitch integration. I don't know how they can put their names for creatures and stuff like that. That's always cute. I appreciate Twitch support like that. And mod support. Oh man, this is a solid 1.0. This is very well rounded. Good for you, Horticular. Thumbs up for you. Again, that is July 11th. Next up, we have Go-Go Town with an early access date. So that's not 1.0. That's not a game release, Al. That is June 18th. That is like the day of... It'll be out by the time people listen to this podcast. Go-Go Town will be out in early access. For people who don't remember.
Play it. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm sorry to interrupt, Kev, but I'm so freaking excited about Go-Go Town. Like,
yeah.
I don't like early accesses for most games. I don't care. I just want to play some Go-Go Town. God damn, tell the people about this game if they've forgotten.
Yep.
It's so good.
It's amazing how the first impressions, or at least for me, it wasn't that great, but it has turned around. So for people who don't remember, this is a Animal Crossing-like clone, whatever you want to call it, but they put a lot of emphasis on customization and town building, and just generally a lot more features like riding vehicles and all sorts of different customization things. They have they put out a map with time zones and the launch times for each time zone. That's pretty funny. But they've also put out a roadmap of the upcoming development. So it'll launch with all your customization and terraforming, unlockable buildings, machines, upgrades, a skill tree. Basically, you can do automation, single player and multiplayer will be playable, or will be at launch of early access, and it'll be localized in 10 languages. That's pretty dang good. Then in July, they'll have a big update where they'll actually introduce more vehicles and more modes of transportation. Later in September, they'll get a crossover with something. I have no idea what. I actually don't. That's not me being coy. Everything's blocked out and I don't know what. And then later in November,
update's really great. Where like they've done the update, but yeah, they've redacted all of the exciting bits. It's a very funny way of doing an update like this.
It is. It is. Yep. There's a guy in a suit. That's the only pictures. I don't recognize him. So, and then November, and an update called Industrial Dawn, which I assume means more automation or more mechanical customization things, but they don't have any actual details. So yeah, that is that's Go-Go Town early access. I'm also looking forward to this one. I'm infamously not big on early access, so I don't know if I'll pick it up yet, but I'll definitely be keeping my eyes peeled on you guys who are playing it, because
a few interesting things that I picked.
Yep, go for it.
From the update. So they've got a number of features that aren't yet scheduled but are on their radar, so kind of things that they're exploring. And probably the one that stands out the most is that a player house is on that list. So that's one of the things that I was expecting to have. And it's interesting that it's not even on their roadmap, which kind of indicates that I guess the focus of the game is going to be a lot more on creating your town rather than Animal Crossing, which has traditionally been your house, and obviously terraforming kind of changed that a little bit with New Horizons.
Right.
So that was just an interesting little bit.
Yeah, you're right. It is. That is interesting, right? Because Animal Crossing likes usually prioritize the personal stuff first, but yeah, this looks more town focused than your own house. That is interesting. Yeah. Okay. That is neat. That said, I'm expecting there will be a lot of town customization then, probably much more so than Animal Crossing, if that's their focus. So that's cool. And we get the chainsaws, so that's the important thing. Speaking of chaotic games, next up we have an early access date for Southfield, the wibbly wobbly, as they self-describe themselves, physics-based farming game where you play as a gumdrop character. That will be dropping on June 24th, very shortly after this podcast, like almost a week after this podcast drops. That's a good game. The trailer looks good. Very excited for that. Southfield, another one that is probably definitely worthwhile in early access. Is their demos anything to show, because they had the worst part of the demos is that you couldn't save, but now I'm assuming it's going to be similar, but you can save, and so that makes it way better already.
It's just a stupid good month for games, right? Like
it ridiculously so.
Go-Go Town, Southfield all look amazing, and I think what I like most about this sort of lineup of three games is they're all very distinct, right? Like, obviously all of them have elements that are callbacks to other things, but this is, to me, an amazing series of games that move away from like the Stardew clones and those sorts of things. Like, all of these games feel like they've got a distinct look. We didn't talk about it with Go-Go Town, but like their aesthetic reminds me very much of like kind of like Saturday morning cartoons almost. Is kind of how I describe their vibe, and it's not something that a lot of games are doing. I think this is a great lineup of games for sort of cottagecore and exploring and pushing in different directions. Like, I just think between the three games we've just talked about, there's got to be something in here for just about everybody that's listening to this show.
Absolutely. I totally agree, right? And it's not just now, but I think it's very indicative of where we are in the whole cottagecore space, right? Because Stardew 1.0 came out in 2016, and I would pretty definitely say that was the start of the cottagecore boom, right? Where it really became a big genre, not just a very niche thing with like 2 or 3 games. and for a good while, it was very Stardew cloney, right? But you're right. All three of these have are off the beaten path, so to speak, and different flavors, like you said, that different people can enjoy. So that is really exciting to see. Well, just in general, where the cottagecore games are and whatnot. So yeah, great observation there. All right then, let's see here. Now we're going to get into some updates for games. The first being Sunhaven. The 1.4 update is out now. This is the last update to come out before the Switch release. Let's see here. It includes a new region, the Brimstone Deeps. You can have a kid now. Full controller support, yay! Some increased translations and localizations for Mac. Several relationship stuff. Sewers.
And they said that they've got a black market launching, which sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
So for me, it looks like they're continuing to add a ton of awesome stuff to Sunhaven, and Sunhaven's been it's perennially on my list of games I really want to play, but also it looks like a huge time investment because it just looks so big that I find it very hard to commit to, and every time I see these updates and what they're adding, I'm like, man, that sounds interesting and cool. I like everything that Sunhaven is doing. I'm just very nervous about starting it because it seems like such a deep hole to get into.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm just looking at the cars and the mounts you can have. There's some wild stuff in here, holy moly.
Yeah, it's a nuts game.
Yeah. So with this, again, all that stuff we discussed was free updates to the game, but included there will also be dropping 9 DLC packs, which are all cosmetics, furniture, pets, mounts, clothing, so on and so forth. A lot of them look pretty nice, I will say. You can ride a rocking horse. That's pretty fun. But yeah, I invite everyone to check out the Steam page. Oh, I guess we should have... I forgot. Whoops. As always, we have the transcripts on the website and links to all this stuff. There you go, Al. Don't get mad at me anymore. But yeah, there's... wow, I'm just going down the list. This is a very beefy update for Sunhaven. So, you're right. This is intimidating. But yeah, again, that is already out now. Let's see. Next up, very close to being out, Lottlenaut, the Lottlepedia update. Oh goodness, Lottle. What is a Lottlepedia? Let's see here. Wait, what? All the Lottle evolutions and silhouettes for you. Yeah, okay. The Lottlepedia tracks all the Lottle evolutions you found and shows silhouettes for ones you've yet to discover. It displays information on abilities for each Lottle evolution and the diet required to turn a baby Lottle into that form. This should have been in the game already. Probably anytime you're doing a monster collector, right? I didn't... this game's already out. I missed that completely. I have got to get this game if I really want it. I might be getting this today. I completely missed that. But yeah, no, that's surprising that they had a whole monster collecting thing and no encyclopedia, Pokedex, whatever. I'm glad they finally got it out, or it's coming out relatively soon, June 27th. Is this only on Steam? Yeah, it looks like it's just on PC and Mac right now. Yeah, I think so. It's on Steam at least. Okay. But yeah, I'll be looking more at that for myself in a little. But anyways, now let's talk about something that's almost 1.0 out. Song of the Prairie. We are at the 0.9 update. Well, it's been announced that update will be dropping on. Oh, it's out now. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's already out now. They have added Steam achievements, 7 new languages, level 6 tools. That sounds big. That's past 5. They've optimized a lot of visual things, it looks like. Fixing some bugs. They have recreated the character creation function. Okay, that took me a second there. So they've reworked that. Not okay. But yeah, there is a. So this looks like their last update before the full edition. They're talking about.
But they didn't explicitly state that, so there's still time, right?
Yeah, that is true.
They might throw in a couple more. We could get a 0.9.1.
We could. They do say they are going to launch a game test. What is a game test campaign for the coming of full? What does that mean? A game test campaign. A game test campaign for the coming of full edition. I don't know what that means. Okay, but there you go. That is again Song of the Prairie, 0.9 update. Let's see. And next up, we have Spirity. Not that Pokemon, but the game Spirity. I know. I feel like I've made this joke before, but that's okay. We have. Now you're not catching a Pokemon, but you are catching fish because it's the Hook, Line, and Spirit update. They added fishing.
And we love fishing, don't we, Kev?
Yes we do. I'm looking here just at the it does look like they put effort in. It's not just Animal Crossing. There's a silhouette of a fish and you're pulling it closer to you. That actually looks fairly well done. I don't know how fun it is, but just visually it does stand out from other fishing mini games or systems or whatever. Alongside fishing, there is all sorts of other quality of life and bug fixes. You can toggle how dark it is at night. That's a good one. Added a streamer mode to hide away details about you in Moby's quest. I don't know what that means, but that okay, that's good. Some bugs and all sorts of things. Yeah, that is. Is that already out? I can't remember. Yes, that is out now. Again, Hook, Line, Spirit for Spirity. Okay, and next up we have, let's see, a bunch of sort of new games coming out and a sneak peek here. First up, we're going to talk about Little Lands. But Little Lands is, they did a thing with IGN. Okay, so sorry, I'm looking at the video because I didn't get a chance to look at it before. These characters are cute. They're very like Link's Awakening-esque. The aesthetic, that's kind of the vibe I feel. An isometric.
Yeah, it feels very. It's that chibi style that they did for Link's the remake of Link's Awakening, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's what I refer. Yes, that's the one.
Which is it's interesting, right? Because I think a lot of people didn't like that aesthetic for reasons that I don't fully understand. Because like I quite like it. Like I think it's distinct, and for the sort of game that it looks like this is, I think that style works very well. Like it does a good job of kind of making it clear where you can and can't go while also making the world look full. And like Little Lands looks kind of exciting to me, you know, where it's like, even if it's just a little bit of like heavily inspired by Link's Awakening, sort of adventure-ish, you know, dialed up farming elements, 3D camera. Even like watching the video, you almost get like a little bit of like Pokemon vibes, not in that it's catching stuff, but like, you know, it seems like you are a young kid going out on an adventure. And now I'm just thinking about like a Pokemon game with these aesthetics, which I think I'd be really into. Yeah,
absolutely. Like I totally see what you mean. Especially like they show this lake where they're fishing with a bridge that feels very, very Pokemon. But I know it does have that feeling of a kid just wandering around this landscape and whatnot. I do get that feeling, right? There is a good bit dash of Zelda inspirations in here. You have a sword, you're swinging at some enemies, but also a lot of other fun, cutesy stuff. They have the fishing rod, but you can use the fishing rod in bushes and all sorts of things. The environments are very, very pretty, I gotta say. Like, they're very... It's all in the same style, right? So it's not like super high fidelity graphics or whatever, but it's very detailed. There's a lot of plants and lush backgrounds and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this. That is very cute. Do we have any ETA on? No, it's to be announced. You can wish list it. But yeah, I really encourage people to check this one out. It's a very, very good-looking game, in my opinion. Okay, next up, we have the announcement of Starbirds.
Starbirds looks so cool. So Starbirds is from the Dorfromantic devs. Did you play Dorfromantic, Kev?
No, what is that? Do tell.
So Dorfromantic is the cozy tile placement city builder game. So if you've ever played Carcassonne, where you're kind of like trying to match things on tiles as you sort of place them, that's what you're doing in Dorfromantic. It's just like a great, like, if you just want a game that's just pure vibes, like there's no real goal, it's just putting cards down until you run out and kind of like building out a large city or a bunch of small cities and some forests, and like it's a great, like, simple little game. I would highly recommend everyone go and play. I'm a big fan of Dorfromantic. And to Starbirds, it seems in a similar-ish vibe. So they describe Starbirds as a cozy base building and resource management game. And so it looks like you're kind of like building bases on relatively small planets, which just looks very cool. I love the aesthetic that they're going for, that they show in this game. The planet style looks cool. I love the idea of like cozy base building, you know. The resource management side, it will depend how heavy that is, but from what they're showing, like, it doesn't look like it's, you know, going to be an insane resource management thing. It's probably, like, I'm guessing it's probably just you've got to have a thing to collect resources, and it will do that over time, and then that will just enable you to go to more surrounding planets. So I'm very excited for this one. I think it's 2025 is all I've said in terms of a release date. Yeah, I think this looks very cool. Very excited for this one.
Yeah, I agree. This might be odd comparison, but looking at the resource management, it's a very like cutesy, chill version of No Man's Sky. What it feels like to me, because you're placing like solar panels and cables and connecting things, and it looks like you can transport stuff between your planets. Oh, this looks good. I really enjoy this sort of resource management. I'm very on board for this. And is against Starbirds coming? No, it's next year. We gotta wait a while, but that's okay, because there are too many games right now, anyways. Okay. Next up, we have Wait, is this already early access already? Sorry, I'm just reading this. Next up, we have a game called Among the Wild.
Also known as Cozy Power World.
I was about to say that. Look, there's no getting around it. We got us a Power World clone. Somehow we already have one. It is a lot cozier. It doesn't wear its shoot Pokemon on its sleeve like that, but a lot of similar, like, it's first person perspective. You're running around similar environments. There are weapons. You can have an axe and cane, and there's like a spear. Cozy Power World pretty much knocks it out of the park, right? Like, there's a llama there.
Amazing. While it's technically like, you could call it a Power World clone, this has clearly been in development for a long time. Like, with what they're showing, it looks incredible. Like, all of the the Pokemon. I'm just gonna call them Pokemon because that's basically what they are. They look amazing. They're so like derpy. Most of the ones that they're showing, they're just like very funny and like all like a little bit too fluffy, which I love. Like this whole game just looks stupid. I love it. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, this. Look, that black duck looking guy. That is just actually a Dragon Quest monster. It's called the Platypunk. It looks like
it very much is.
It's the Platypunk. I like their little. What are the Star Wars things? Porgs? Yeah, that's what they're called. The little main guy looks like a porg kind of. Yeah, they're all very round and derpy looking. These critters. There's a rock guy. I don't know why, but you can throw a slime guy at another of these Pokemon. I don't know what's going on here, but I will say it does look visually like the detail is much more than Power World, right? Like Power World was nice enough, right? It was fine, but it was very samey at times, right? Like there's a lot more details here, like in the towns or even just the gardens and stuff like that. So yeah, that was announced. Release dates to be announced.
Yeah, they're taking sign-ups for their alpha at the moment. So
there you go.
This one's realistically, this is probably a 2026.
Yeah, probably. And clearly they've got ambition here, right? So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that. All right, next up we have. Oh my god. Okay, like Cozy's overdone, but next on the list is the Studio Ghibli inspired. No, stop it! You stop it, people, because oh god, here I'll read the blurb just so people can see. Hotel Galactic is a cozy. Oh my, there started off with cozy. Is a cozy management game inspired by Studio Ghibli's classic pictures. Build the tourist destination of your dreams, oversee and unite your staff to forge a quirky family, and make friends as you explore this wholesomely nostalgic world. Oh my god. Like, I get people love Studio Ghibli, but come on, people. Come on. And it's always the cutscenes. They always start off with the cutscenes just to make sure that you know. Look at all the Studio Ghibli. And boy, wow, a lot of this is just legally distinct Studio Ghibli scenes. The actual game. So I'm looking at it now. How would I describe this aesthetic? Because what's funny is
like you're building a hotel like from a side profile, right? So I what it gave me a similar vibe to is kind of like how you build your ship in
Spiritfarer.
Oh my god, Spiritfarer. Thank you.
Yep.
It was
excellent.
Almost that sort of vibe.
Yep, that's an excellent comparison. Yeah, because it's or Terraria, if people know that, right, where you can see outside the rooms all at once. That's pretty much what it's going for. Again, that is Hotel Galactic. I like the concept. I do like the concept, but just the Studio Ghibli stuff has been.
My initial reaction was exactly the same as yours. Of like, we don't need more Studio Ghibli. And then as I was watching it, I was like, yeah, but this one seems pretty good. Like, I would probably play this game. So maybe maybe we do.
Yeah. I mean, but it's the aesthetic, right? Because like I'm excited by the concept and the gameplay, but just everyone going after Ghibli is.
Yeah, that's fair.
I say that, but like Mineko, I'm just waiting for not Mineko, Mika. Yeah. So yeah. But I digress. Anyways, we have. Oh my gosh, these names.
Oh, sorry. Before we jump on, Hotel Galactic has Kickstarter launching in July. So if that's something you're interested in, keep your eyes peeled for that one.
Oh, thank you. That's a good call. I probably won't. I'm bad at Kickstarters, but I encourage other people to. But there you go. Next up, I'm surprised this name has not already been done, but here we are. We have Super Farming Boy. And that is a Super Farming Boy. Like Just looking at the trailer here, it's a little guy who's flying around and he's farming while he flies. What? Oh, chain reactions and combos. What? Okay, quirky creatures. There's a lot going on with this game.
Yeah. So it seems to be more action adventure. Like, it's farming as the basis for action adventure. Like, they don't even use the word cozy in the description of their game. So
yeah.
I don't even know why we're talking about it, because I thought that was how we defined. You just do a search for cozy. But no, it seems like it's using farming as the basis for, like, a combat action adventure. I'm trying to think of, like, exactly what it reminds me of, but I can't quite place it.
So visually, it's... this is gonna sound weird, but it reminds me of the Amazing World of Gumball. The main characters.
Yeah, no, it does. I see what you're saying. Yep.
Or Cuphead. That's another comparison. Maybe obviously not the hand drawn 2D animation, but it's a similar sort of style. It's very very cartoony. Everything has eyes. You know what? I take that back. Some of the house has eyes and moves around. That feels very Cuphead-esque. Yeah, so it is colorful. It is different, I will say that, right? Because he's harvesting crops, but it's very dynamic because there's patterns and, like, he pulls one out and other ones pop out in a chain, and it's interesting. And there is sort of, like, enemies that you have to deal with, and you have to work your way through the upgrades to rescue your friends and whatnot, apparently. This is, I am interested in this. It's different. It's very different from a lot of other farming games, I will say. That is Super Farming Game. We, again, just announced they'll be doing an early access. Wait, demo's already out. You can get a demo right now. How nice. But no release date, I don't think, or tentative release date. There you go. Check out Super Farming Boy. Props to them for getting to that name first. I'm surprised no one else did. All right. Next up, we have Everhome. Oh goodness. Oh, they're not saying it, but this is this is more Ghibli plot. I'm just reading the description here. Lily was spirited away to a mysterious island. As her memories fade, everyone seems to know her and her quest for her missing sister. It's time to establish a homestead, meet your friendly Everfolks, then learn their secrets and solve the mystery of Everhome. So we have an isometric looking game. You're managing chickens, you're farming plants. It's one of those things where it looks like where you plant one thing but you get like 10 crops or whatever. There's a forest that you wander through with looks like some sort of combat magic spells or something. There's a lot of fiery sparks going on. I think the aesthetic is kind of nice, just the isometric view. But they're planning release for 2024. Oh, a demo is already out. That is nice. Do you have any thoughts on this one, Johnny? Everhome?
Not really. Like, I'm still just, like, not... I can't quite see enough of this to, like... I don't know. Like, it's not doing anything that I haven't seen elsewhere. And, like, everything about it looks good. But in the context of all of the games that we've talked about today, like, I'm not sure that this one has anything that feels that distinct about it, so I'm just struggling to sort of...
Yeah, no, that's very fair, right? Like, I agree. I think it looks nice, but it, like you said, doesn't have anything really sticking out or differentiating it from all the other ones. It's kind of the opposite of Super Farming Boy in that sense, right? Where Super Farming Boy is wild and very clearly what that game's going for, But yeah, there you go. That was Everhome. Again, there's a demo for that one as well. They're planning for 2024, but other than that, no other dates. All right, and I think we actually got through all the news. Do you have any other comments, or concerns, Johnny, or news items I may have missed?
I think it's just like a ton of exciting stuff coming up, right? So like,
Yeah.
I think the next few months, if you're listening to a show like this, like look around because there's a lot of good stuff coming out, or there's cool demos. Like, so just try some of the stuff out, like and let us know what you're thinking about, like whatever it is that you're playing, because we're now kind of getting to the phase where there's so much that's distinct that there's going to be some really good games that we can't cover on the show. Like there's plenty of games that we haven't covered on the show. I think about a game like Sunhaven, but fundamentally, right, like if you like Stardew and all of the other clones, like Sunhaven is another one of those, right? You don't need us covering it to tell you that, but I think there'll be some games that we will really wish that we were able to get to on the show that we may not be able to. So just love to hear from you guys if you're playing anything that you're like, wow, this is amazing, like this worked out really well. Like that sort of feedback can help us know what's worth covering, because there's a lot coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic, right? Because like obviously we're biased to covering these games and listening into the show and whatever, but like there's a lot of Studio Ghibli, a lot of Cozy or whatever, but the ones that stand out, they're very, very exciting, right? Go Town, we got Southfield, lots of good stuff. But yeah, there you go. With that, I think we can call it an episode. We got through the news. If you Johnny, where could people find you on the internet if you want to be found?
No, I don't think I do want to be found. As always, like I just suggest, if you can, going to patreon.com/thsspod, support the show, get access to the Slack, come and talk to us about what cozy games you're playing, and how you're enjoying them. So it's a great way to engage,
yes,
everyone on the show, and we're mostly just in there talking nonsense about whatever we're playing.
Right. And obviously we're only one show a week, right? And so we can only cover X many games in a year, right? But talking about it on the Slack would probably encourage us to pick up a certain one more, right? Like we've had people discuss games on there, or bring to our attention stuff. But anyways, yeah, there you go. That's the also you get access to the Greenhouse, Al's our premium podcast about stuff that's not farming cottagecore games. Al and Cody did one on other games that were nuts that weren't covered last week. But you can find me at Koopa Prez on Twitter if you want to see my personal account. You can find me at Sprider Squared if you want to see some of my art. Or you can find me on Rainbow Road Radio, a podcast I do with our mutual friend Alex. That's Rainbow Mario Pod on Twitter, or Rainbow Road Radio on most other places. We talk about Mario games. We just recorded an episode about Mario and Luigi, Partners in Times, where Mario and Luigi team up with their baby selves. Which, yeah, it's as weird as it sounds. Okay. I'm just thinking about, thinking about that concept now. That'd be really weird to carry your own baby self around. But yeah, go find out how the Mario Bros handle that. Anyways, you can find Al at the ScottBot on Twitter, or mastodon.scott. You can find the podcast at thspod or harvestseason.club, our website where we have all our links. We have the transcripts. You can provide feedback. You hit up the Patreon, as Johnny mentioned, patreon.com/thspod for all that good stuff. Thank you, Johnny, for being on. Thank you, Al, for having me on. And until next time, dear listeners, have a good harvest.
The Harvest Season is created by Al McKinley, with support from our patrons, including our pro farmers, Kevin, Stuart, and Elisa. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, harvestseason.club, for show notes and links to things we discussed in this episode.
Alright, there we go. We did it.
Okay.
You can go die
so
now.
I realized when I went to go have a vom, like I obviously muted myself on Skype on Zoom, but
Yeah.
my local recording, and it's not that far, so I'm like, I need to warn Al, like.
Oh, sick. There's
Chill a bit.
well, there's you. There we don't have a greenhouse, but we have that for Patreon.
Oh, gross.